Matt Stream.
Hello. Why did I don't know why I started with that. Hi, this is just me today. No Dan, no anyone else, no Tracy, no Steve, no John, just me. This will be short as well. I'm going to want to keep this under an hour preferably, maybe half an hour, we'll see. Of me just talking about the census results for the 2016 Nerdcubed census. I did one of these last year, but I did it on my own Twitch. So I thought I'd do it on here this year because it's a Nerdcubed thing, innit? And you might be interested. If you're not interested, because this is literally just me alone going over graphs, probably not everyone's cup of tea. Feel free to leave. It's fine. I'm going to try and answer some questions as well. If you've got any questions about anything, really, much like the town hall I did, I have a bit of a Q&A thing, not necessarily about myself, but just about Nerdcubed in general, thoughts, feedback, anything else of the sort. There we go. Good. Yes. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to put them on Twitter to me, at Mataphobia, if you don't know, or put them in the chat. That's fine. I will try and answer things as I go, and I will show off all of the, most of the census results. I won't be showing off some of the specific ones. I won't bother showing off the ones that we put for, like, bloody merch-related things and stuff, like, and all that. But for the most part, I'll show you all the results, and then I will post, I'll be posting pictures of all the results on the subreddit. But I thought I'd do a rundown as well, because I was going to put them in a nice infographic. I was going to make a lovely infographic. That was my plan last year. But much like last year, when I tried dealing with the amount of data, because there are 7,740 responses, and it's a really big sheet. It's a really big spreadsheet. And everything just shits itself when you try and mess with it. You try and make a graph out of that, it just shits itself. Whatever application I've tried it in, just shit. OpenOffice, LibreOffice, fucking Keynote, not Keynote, Numbers, Excel, they all just shit themselves. So, fuck it. I'm just going to read off the responses bit of the Google Docs thing. Yes. Anyway. This is going to be put on YouTube. Nerdcubed Live will probably upload it, the fan channel. That's fine. Too many people thought Dan was coming. Well, a lot of people, for some strange reason, don't read. I've noticed this online all the time. I expect this, right? I fully expect this, but it would be a common thing where, like, I'd put a Steam announcement out, and it'd say, blah blah. It'd have the title, and then in the description, it'd give more details. And then people would immediately comment, "Oh, how do I? What's the IP for the TeamSpeak, for example?" And it's in the description. People don't read, right? Historically speaking, people on the internet don't bother to read things because the internet's a very instant place, right? So, anyway, that's fine. We're okay. I do use garlic butter to fuck bread, just to clarify, right? Just to clarify. Also, I do baguettes. They need to be big enough for my cock. Anyway, yes, where the fuck is the little? I set up a thing. Desktop region. There we go. Let's scroll down a bit. There we go. Let's get started, shall we? As I said, there are 7,740 responses to this one. This was the 2016 one. Keep getting confused. I can compare them. I will compare them to the 2015 one. If you're at all interested, the results aren't terribly different. It just sort of reflects. It's worth noting as well. This more reflects the outside community, if that makes sense. Because Dan didn't promote it on the channel. I asked him to. He forgot. But this is really it's your subreddit people. It's your Twitch people. It's your Twitter people. It's that kind of. It's the people who follow the channel outside of YouTube, if that makes sense. So the results are a little skewed because of that. They don't really represent the channel. Let's say. You'll notice it when I get to the gender, because the gender thing does not represent the channel at all. Make it bigger. Alrighty, there we go. Make it bigger. There we go. Forget I'm streaming in 720. This isn't my YouTube streaming. This isn't 1440p 60. No, Twitch can't handle that. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm going to get the 2015. I've done these 3 years in a row now. To these 2014, 2015, 2016 now. Which good. It's been modified every year. More questions have been added every year. If you have any ideas for things to add to next year's census, by the way, let me know. Let me know. So, this is the website you have an account on for, and this one interests me because of the next question, which is what websites do you use on a regular basis, which is this one. Now, I have not set this up right because I can't. Whatever, you'll follow me along, right? So, a lot of people, obviously, surprisingly, only 98% of people have a YouTube account. There's 2% of people who don't have a YouTube account that follow Nerdcubed. That's fun, though. Don't question it. That's fine. That's fine. A lot of people have Google Plus accounts because they were Google Plus accounts because they were mandatory. 56% of people have Google Plus accounts. Now, keep that number in mind. 56% of people have a Google Plus account. How many people use Google Plus accounts? That's right, 2%. Fucking the biggest drop off of anything is fucking Google Plus. Maybe MySpace. DeviantArt has a pretty big drop off as well, but not as big as Google Plus. Boy, oh boy. SoundCloud, a huge drop off as well. It's almost like people sign up for things and don't use them. Apparently, who knows? There's Tinder as well. 9% of people have Tinder, which makes sense because of the single statistic. That's a bit later down the road. I mean, realistically speaking, right? Where the fuck's my mouse? Oh, there it is. I lost my mouse. Good start. I mean, statistically, most people who watch are male teenagers. I would be unsurprised if the majority of you are male teenagers. And most male teenagers are single. It's funny. It's almost like most people watching are interested in male teenagers. Who, it's really unsurprising. And yeah, Habbo. By the way, these websites here were chosen. I got the list of this off the top websites, top social networks. And Habbo was on the list of top social networks. It was quite high up on the social networks with the most accounts. In fact, I had Habbo. I started on Habbo sort of years and years and years ago. I was a Habbo X, which was one of the things that got me into my sort of community PR stuff. But it doesn't seem that popular. There's Bebo's on there as well. Bebo. God, you need to buy Club Penguin. Apparently it closed down, didn't it? Fuck. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's a Pixel thing. It ran in Shockwave originally, and then it switched to Flash, and it's exactly the same as it was. I went on there the other week to see if it still existed. All my rooms from 10 years ago still there. You're one of the people who use didn't Foursquare split into two things? I think. Also, I didn't put this statistic in last year's one. I don't think. I did not. No, I did not put. This was a new question I added. Why not love for Meverse? It's not actually count. That's not a site, is it? It's a service. It's not really, you can't access that on a normal computer, can you? Or can you? I don't know. Trying to make a good job. So yeah, that's why. I find the Google Plus thing very interesting. Just the amount of people who they forced to sign up versus the amount of people who didn't actually ever end up using it because it's a shit social network. Nobody wants to use it. And this is onto the section of, are you comfortable answering questions about your personal life? Because I included this because last year, a lot of people. I actually added this question last year, but really far down the line. Like, I added this question last year near the very end of when the census was open. So last year's census has about the same number of responses, 7,650 as opposed to 7,740, so 90 more. And I only have 275 responses for the one last year, which means I added it really late, because people complained. A lot of people didn't like that all these questions, even though they were all optional questions. All of these questions are all optional. You could skip every one, or you could answer NA for everyone. But people didn't like that, so I gave people the option to skip. Even though clearly very few people wanted the option to skip. How many people didn't want the option to skip? 179 people. Oh, that's weird. On the capture screen on XSplit, it shows my mouse as being below where it actually is. Like my mouse is on the red bit. How odd. Huh. Yeah, and then you just annoyingly as well, I should have really listed ages in a drop down. Emma did that in her census, which I've actually, because I helped her with that. Emma did it in her census, and it is better because it graphs it properly then. Also, that's really weirdly exposed. Hang on. That's better. There we go. It would have graphed it nicely instead of showing it in a big list like this, because I just put a text box. Shouldn't have done that, because it's hard to graph. I can't really graph that now. I might try and graph that at some point. But, it's probably, based on last year's, which is age brackets. Last year was age brackets. Just drag this across here. Ooh, there we go. Age bracket. This is last year's one. And most people, as you can see, were sort of in the teens. Makes sense. That's exactly the result I'd expect. There are very few people sort of older than sort of early 20s. Which makes sense, really, doesn't it? That's last year. This is last year's one, by the way. So, yeah, there we go. MBTI personality type. People got very annoyed in the comments saying, it has no basis in science. You know what? This isn't a scientific census, is it? I don't give a shit. It's not. I'm not judging your entire personality based on this thing. I was just curious. Right? This is all the census is. Curiosity. This is great, right? And I don't know what really these mean. The most popular one was, of course, I can't be bothered doing the quiz. Jog on, mate. Fair enough. But then after that, INFP and INTP. INFP. Let's Google what that actually means. The mediator. And this sort of reflects what I sort of think about a lot of people being somewhat introverted. Obviously in stuff. Being part of the diplomat personality group, INFPs are guided by their principles rather than logic. Excitement. No, hang on. What the fuck? People who share the INFP personality type are proud of this quality, and rightly so. Not everyone understands the drive behind their feelings, so it can lead to isolations. Oh, you're very introspective. I can't understand you. You're too complicated of a person. It's really mean. You're dark and brooding and complex, so nobody understands me, Mom. Get away. It's coming from me, doesn't it? I've seen the way I look. And then INTP. I didn't ask hair colour. I should have asked hair colour. That's one I'll add for next year. I'll add hair colour. It's basically the same thing, but it's more about logic than feelings. Yeah, principles rather than logic is INFP, while logic is more than principles in INTP. Intentiveness and creativity, unique perspective and vigorous intellect. You're all so clever. Just wank yourselves off to how clever you are. The test is literally just a fucking wank yourself off, isn't it? Good job. But they two were hugely the most popular versus all these other ones. What was the least popular? How does it order these? Oh, it doesn't order them as that. I have to find the least popular. It looks like the green one there. ENTJ or ES. ESTP is the least popular. ESTP, what is it? ESTP. I do talk a lot about wanking, don't I? Famous people. Oh god, the first famous people for ESTP is Donald Trump. That makes sense. The entrepreneur. Good. Entrepreneurs you may know. Ernest Hemingway, Jack Nicholson, Eddie Murphy, Madonna, Bruce Willis, Michael J. Fox, Sarkozy, Sam Jackson, Lincoln Burrows, Jamie Lannister. It's just listing characters now. Hank from Breaking Bad, Seth Grayson from House of Cards, Gabrielle from Desperate Housewives. Oh, great, good. Quality. Maybe that explains why that's the least popular then, doesn't it? I suppose. Anyway. How tall are you? Again, I've just got a lot of responses here to this. A lot of people didn't answer this, clearly. 2,000 people didn't actually answer it. But I can't really graph. It's hard to graph this, really. Because there's so many. I'll try and graph this for the one I put up on Reddit. Same with weight. I thought, oh, we'll get a more accurate reading, and then I realized, shit, it doesn't graph it in the fucking summary sheet, and I went, ah, fuck. And it was too late to change it at that point, so. Yeah, those tests are bull, but fuck, they're interesting. So these community managers, Jesus. How tall am I? I don't know. I know, check. I am 100 right now. 175 centimeters tall, which is about 5'9". 5 foot, yeah, 5'9", 5'8". You didn't get these questions. No, these questions were in the census. If you chose to skip them, you would have skipped them. So there you go. Hey, that's yep. Primary language, obviously English. Most people. Actually, the second most popular was Dutch, which I suppose makes sense. The Dutch all pretty much speak English, so what's the highest recorded rate? I don't know. See, the problem is with this gives me a summary here, right? Is what you're seeing. This is a summary, so it's giving me not all. This isn't all of them, right? I have to look at the actual spreadsheet for that. But the problem with the spreadsheet is it's got so many things in, it just lags. It lags. You try and scroll, or you try and sort, and it just lags. Yeah, I use some of these statistics to basically find trolls. If someone put attack helicopter for gender, the entire entry got deleted, even if that was the only joke one, just because, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not actually that short. Like, I'm short than many people, but I'm not short. Anyway, yeah, this language, I misspelled off. Oh, I don't know. These were taken off a list. All these ones, these literally were pasted in because I wasn't gonna fucking type out every goddamn language, was I? But yeah, Dutch and then Swedish, which I suppose they're Northern European. I've seen a lot of Northern European and Scandinavian. So fair enough. Unsurprising. The country do you live in? Now this one is interesting because 43% UK. And that is not really representative of the channel. The channel is more like 50% US. And I think this is where a lot of the differences sort of come out in sort of the channel versus the external bits. A lot of people on the external bits are more British, interestingly. But I'm not sure why. Export to Excel. It lags. It lags whatever I put it in. I'll try, but it lags. And the US second, and then Australia. I didn't know so many Australians. That's a lot. I say that's not many. That's 5%, which is still representative. If the amount of responses were doubled, it'd probably be about the same percentage. But still. So then, what's that one? Canada. Look at that island with 100. Oh, we got 21 Israelis, and we got 17 Romanians, and 7 Turkish, and UAE there. 6 from the UAE. Hot damn. I love seeing this though, because you see you just see the fucking vast amount of different people. Belgium. You know what? I'm going to turn off the mouse. Don't show the fucking mouse. There we go. Good. So now you won't see my mouse. You'll just see the things come up. There we go. Perfect. I didn't know that many Australians existed either. Goddamn. Need a better PC. It's not the PC. It's just the sheet. It's Google doesn't like the sheet. It can't. Google Docs can't handle the sheet, basically. And trying to export it out, it just has a hissy fit. Country you're born in, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. Obviously, but if you look at the US, interestingly, more people live in the US than were born there. So that's just immigrants. A lot of immigrants. That's a good 100, just over 100 people there. Same with the UK. Few more people were born there than live there. I'd love to. I'd love to take this data and sort of find a way to graph it and compare it and see how many people actually. Because you get one cell and say this person moved to this place, but it's very hard. I don't know how. I'm not good enough at Excel to be able to graph shit like that. So, how many Russians? You got to deal with big data. But I don't know how. Is the thing. Like, I don't really deal with sheets very often. Chile. I saw Chile in there. I haven't seen any Russia. Oh, wow, there's Russian Federation. Oh, I've got to move my mouse very slowly. Slovenia, 11 people from Russia. There we go, 11. Damn immigrants coming here. Yeah, taking off these. Gender. Okay, this gender identity question. Right. I only got one complaint about this this year because I got a few complaints about the first year I did it. And I went through a lot of iterations of this question, which is why it's in 2 parts. And I think this question is very well worded. I'm quite proud of how this question came out, because this is the most inclusive, like, question ever, right? You've got your 2, I should say, regular genders, the sort of traditional 2 genders. And so gender you identify with, and whether you agree or disagree with people identifying with different genders, whatever, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be, right? And this is it. You've got the other, and there we go. You've got obviously 90% male, which is most assuredly not representing the channel. The channel's more sort of like 70% male. I can't check the channel statistics, but that's sort of off the top of my head. There's a lot more females who watch videos than actually go outside. I'm curious why that is. We got 7.6% female, and obviously I put rather not saying I put other, and then other would be there'd be a text box there and you could fill it in, because it's all well and good including a bunch of different genders, but every time I ever try to do that, somebody always says to me, "Oh, you forgot this one." I'm like, you know what? Here's a text box. It's fine. I don't have to think about it now, because there's always gonna be something I forget. So I'll why is the channel, even with 70%, a lot more male than female? It's gaming. Gaming stuff is just more male oriented. It's more of a male audience. That's just how it works. Unfortunately, there's just more males into gaming, at least on YouTube. Yes. And then obviously the continuified, because I don't like to put group people who are transgender into a gender. Like, transgender male isn't a gender, right? Like, someone who is transgender, right? They're male or female, right? Whatever. But they're male. Like, if there's someone who's transitioned from female to male, they are male. They're not transgender male, they are male. So this nice, I think, good way of wording it, right? Good way of wording it to find out how many people are transgender without separating it like that. That's good. Like the wording. People are fine with this. I think. I think that no one's complained about these 4, so that's fine. So we've got 92.9% cisgender, which is interesting to me. I was expecting it to be higher. I was expecting sort of the alternate sort of alternate. I don't know what the word would be. To be slightly lower than that. Pleasantly surprised by that. And there we got transgender at 2%, and then we've got genderqueer, gender fluid at 2.4%, bigender, which apparently I wasn't quite I didn't quite understand the difference between these two. There is, so I'm not going to question it. That's my policy with gender. Like, if I don't understand, whatever, I don't care. This is it. Like, if you put like other, when you put like attack, helicopter, whatever, I just deleted your thing. If you're gonna be a dick, like someone, there's this fucking great answer which says, "I am male," and they went on a big fucking rant about like gender. I'm like, I don't. If you're just gonna, I don't care, right? I don't. Why do you care? It doesn't matter. What someone else chooses to do with their genitals or with their appearance is none of your fucking concern. It doesn't matter. Just fucking answer the question. Just tick male. Don't don't click other and then write mail and write a rant. It just makes you come off as an asshole. I'm going to delete your comment. So, anyway. And sexual orientation. Got a few complaints about this because of the wording I used. You like. I said like. When apparently I should have used you are sexually attracted. Now, I'm going to reword that for next year, even though I thought it was very heavily implied by it being sexual orientation. It's a fucking minefield. Like, just anything to do with gender or sex. It's a minefield of terms, and that's fine. But it's the most... You end up offending someone. No matter what you do, you piss off someone. And I hate it. I hate it because if you go really, really, really into actually providing loads of different options and all that, then you get a load of fucking people going, oh, there's no option. And if you don't provide any options, you get people who actually, these want to choose the other options, going, why aren't there other options to me? So you get people get pissed off either way, unfortunately. I don't think it matters. Personally, I don't give a shit. You shouldn't either if it's not your... Like, why do you care? Why do you care? I don't care. But anyway, yeah, I was quite surprised by only 67%, 68% being heterosexual. Actually, if I'm going to look up the statistic, hang on. Orientation census. I'm going to have a look at the sexual identity. Sexual identity? No, wait. Is that it? I don't know. Because how this compares to the... I've just downloaded shit in PDF form. Oh, this is just a fucking... how do how many... Give me a percentage! Absence of sexual orientation. Oh, there was absent. Okay, fine, whatever. No, that was surprising to me. Not surprising. I was expecting heterosexual to be a lot more popular, because you'd expect it to be. You just would expect it to be. But I suppose with us as in Nerdcubed being very, very liberal, extremely liberal, very outspoken liberal, and I suppose you'd end up keeping more fans who are more liberal and have more sort of liberal open views to that thing. So there we go. Sexual orientation, 12.2% bisexual. Oh God, I don't know why it's freaking the fuck out when I hover my mouse over it. Google fucking Forms. They ruined it. I'm not even moving my mouse, just flashing for the sake of flashing now. Great. Homosexual. 4.4%. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure at 6%. 6%, I'm not sure. That was a surprising statistic to me. Yeah. 6%, not sure. That's very... And I suppose if a lot of people are teenagers, that's a time in your life where often you aren't sure of who you are and what. So I suppose it makes more sense, but I wasn't expecting it to be that high. It's not a bad thing that it's that high, of course. It's just interesting. And then other at 1%. I'll have to look at what those 117 are. I'm not really sure what else. I'm not really sure what other options there are there, to be perfectly honest with you. But anyway, relationship status. Unsurprising. 76% single and 16% in a relationship. Versus I went too far. Versus look at that, more people are in relationships compared to last year. 12.9% last year, 16.2%. Oh, look at this, people fucking getting partners. Good for you. Well done. Clap. Good improvement. Less lonely people. Good. But yes, that was... It's complicated. These were taken from Facebook. Basically, most of these lifestyle questions, they were taken from pretty much Facebook and a dating website. I can't remember which dating website it was. I signed up to a dating website literally just to get these answers. I made myself a female called Janet. That's fun. I actually left it up for like a day to see if anyone. And they did. So it's complicated. It's complicated. That one's from Facebook. I'm not sure what "it's complicated" means. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what "it's complicated" really implies. It's like you're on a break. I'm assuming you're on a break. It's quite a high amount for. I don't know. Whatever. Engaged at 1%. That's that was higher than I was expecting. In a civil partnership, 0.1%. 10 people in a civil partnership. Well done there. And in an open relationship, 0.9%. Which interesting again. Uncommon things. Was I? Well, no. Janet was on a dating website. Janet, because it was fucking Rocky Horror. I love you too, Janet. You know. Anyway, have you formally been diagnosed with any of the following conditions? Now, let's get compared to last year's one. I separated. I had Asperger's and autism separated last year because they are both on the autism spectrum, but they were at least years ago when I was in school, they were separate conditions because they're on the same spectrum technically, but they were separate conditions. I bundled them into one this year. Because I got a few complaints last year, and then I got a few complaints this year because I hadn't separated them, so I don't know what to do next year. We got 8% with autism, 19.2% with depression. Now, that is slightly down from last year. Now, what's interesting to me about these is I use the words formally diagnosed. Right? I think... last year I said, have you been diagnosed, or do you feel you have? Because a lot of people who are depressed may not have been diagnosed with depression, but they can most certainly say they are depressed. This is the thing. It's very hard to know how accurate this is, because is someone who is having a bad week at school going to say they're depressed because they are unaware of what the term means? Is someone going to say they have fuck me backwards? What's the fucking term? Fuck. OCD. Is someone going to say, like, I didn't put OCD there, because you're going to get people who said, oh, what's this about? You know, they fucking like kerning things, you know. So it's very hard thing. That's why I put formally diagnosed. Don't know how accurate that is again, but you know, it's more, you know, interesting than anything else. Colorblindness, 3% colorblind. That was surprising to me. I didn't really know. That CFS at 1.8%. That's 1.2% this year. I don't know. It's quite an uncommon thing. CFS stress. Stress is down considerably, halved compared to last year. But that might be because I noted formally diagnosed. Obviously, a lot of people aren't formally diagnosed for stress. I think a lot of people who are very stressed aren't formally diagnosed. You know, that's the kind of thing where you go to a doctor and they prescribe you with beta blockers, and they prescribe you with fucking anti-cholesterol things, and you know, blood pressure, all that. And that's interesting. I don't know how much of that is the wording or whether it's just people aren't any. It's hard to tell. Interesting though. Very interesting. 2.1% kind of sex. Oh, rather not. I don't know. You know, that's what I say. The question says diagnosed, but people are still gonna. I don't know. It's a hard thing. It's a curious thing. I could have put a big long thing there. You know, if you've low depression, blah blah blah. You know, but fuck it. It's just a curious thing anyway. Yes, that I found that quite an interesting statistic. Yeah, considering stress is so far down. Anxiety as well. 16. Anxiety's up. Anxiety is the only one that's went up. So, don't know. Fuck. Yeah, the anxiety they're quite high. They were surprisingly high to me at 18% and 19%. I don't know how many of them are the same person. I don't know how much overlap there is there. Again, that's something I could graph with the spreadsheet. Now, I don't know how to graph it with the spreadsheet, and I would release... I trimmed... I could... Now, there is the potential for me to just trim down the spreadsheet and release that. But obviously that goes against the privacy policy, so I can't just release the spreadsheet in its thing, because you'd be able to find identifying information within the actual spreadsheet itself. When you're looking at numbers like this, it's all anonymous. But so I don't know. I might try and find someone who knows fucking Excel inside out, and they can make some good spreadsheets and figure out where the overlap is, and do some really nice fucking charts and infographics and stuff like that. Might have a search around. If you know anyone who you want like that, let me know. Technically, being diagnosed with OCD means diagnosed with anxiety too. Well, I didn't know that. There we go. Just blame Donald for the anxiety. Yeah, fuck. It's like Donald Theresa May. Go to the doctor. What's wrong, Donald Trump? Oh God, you poor dear. Here's some beta blockers. Anyway, diet. There we go. That's last year's. This is this. Last year, 93% were anything. This year it's 91%, which 2%. There we go. Vegetarian. 3% last. 3% this year. So few more vegetarians. That's very small category. Unsurprising. Vegetarians are a very small section of. It's a very small thing. Vegetarians. I'm a vegetarian. I know for a fact it's not vegetarians from experience going into restaurants. I don't know what that like other. Yeah, other. Did I provide other this year? Why is? Oh yeah, I didn't provide an other last year. Why did I provide an other this year? What's other? Can I only eat sweets? I don't know. What other diets are? I suppose there are other diets. There's lacto-vegetarian. There's lacto-vegetarian. There's you're a vegetarian, but you're like a vegan, but you eat milk. Or you're a vegan, eat milk. You're a vegan and you drink dairy and not eggs. Or you're a vegan and you eat eggs but not dairy. And then there's pescatarian, which I include. Cannibals. Oh God, there's so many cannibals in the audience. Oh no. Okay, you know what? I'm going to put that statistic into it. Let's say 2.5%. Okay, 2.5 of Nerdcubed fans are cannibals. I spelled cannabis. Good. That shows me. There we go, screenshot. Bam. Cannibals. Statistics, yo! Okay, good. You don't eat food. Photosynthesis. Oh God, it's quiet. It's like quiet. Just one of the answers is just quiet. Just sat there in the fucking bikini. Look, I can't breathe. Play-Doh diet, God, yeah. You only eat genitals in a sexual manner. Non-committal vegan, yeah, that's a lot of those. Body type, body type. I asked for weight as well, I think earlier on, but I kept body type for the graphing. I kept because I didn't want to ask for BMI, because BMI is a very hard thing to judge. I wanted to ask for height and thing as well, but obviously you can weigh a lot but still be quite thin because you might be tall, and this is just a separate thing which is representative of that. I think last year, yeah, there's last year's one. Literally barely changed. We've got slightly. Oh, that's okay. More people, slightly less people are thin, and more people are average. So people have gained a bit of weight, just a tad. People, yeah, a little extra is a bit higher as well. People have gained a little bit of weight in the past year. People have gained a bit of weight, just a tiny bit, just a teeny bit of weight. That's about it. It's just a teeny bit of weight. It's fine. It's almost identical. Look at that. That's so weird. Boop, 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 boop. But yeah, it is just people have gained a little bit of weight. Cool. A little extra as well. I think this was one of the ones from the dating website, the weight one. Because Facebook only has lifestyle ones, while the dating website has like physical and shit ones. And a little extra is totally the kind of thing you put to feel better about yourself, isn't it? That's the I'm chubby, but I don't want to say I'm chubby. It's just a little extra. It's just a bit of love handles. Oh, it's more to grab onto. Don't judge me. Obese has got a bit bigger, has it? Obese, 3.7. Oh yeah, well, look at that. It's not a huge amount of more people, to be honest, but it's, yeah, so people have just gained weight. There we go. People have gained a bit of weight in the past year. Well, I'll be diddled. I will be diddled. Let's look at underweight, actually, because you want people who are underweight to gain weight. No, there are more underweight people. So the people who didn't need to gained weight, and the people who needed to gain weight didn't gain weight. Good. So the body type one is most assuredly not improved. Right? We can say that it's not improved. Oh, you're cutting your long hair to be sure. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe people have just grown long hair and it's increased the weight a bit. I don't know. Fuck. That's interesting. God. Main belief system. Where the fuck is... Oh, why are they graphed differently? Oh, I don't know. I don't know why one's a bar chart, and one's a pie chart. That's interesting. Yeah, I prefer the bar chart, to be honest. Whatever. And now, a lot of people complain because I included atheism, agnosticism, and non. A lot of people say to me, Matt, atheism and non are the same thing. And ideologically, in many senses, they are the same thing. But a lot of people don't like to identify with atheism. A lot of people are just like, I don't believe in anything, go away. And other people are like, I'm an atheist. Right? There's a difference. And even though formally, I suppose, there isn't really a difference, I was curious at how many people would choose each, which is why there's both. Because really, I just, like, if anyone asks if I'm religious, I go, I'm not religious. Yeah, I'm none. That's what I'd put in stuff. I'd put none. Because atheist to me, even though, yeah, it's not having a belief, it's still and it's not a belief system, is it, really? But it is most assuredly a, it's a group, I'm an atheist. I'm agnostic, whatever. And let's see, that doesn't seem to have, I can't just compare the bar charts, can I? Let's have a look. Let's say non, 27%. Non. Wow, the fuck is non? 25%. Agnostic. Oh god, why is it flashing? God, Google. They changed forms. They changed Google Forms about 2 years ago, and ever since then it's been shite. 17.4%, and that is 15, and then we got 35, 40. Oh, look at that. So less people are identifying with atheism, and more people are identifying with agnosticism and non. No, that's interesting. And we got others, whatever. A few Christians, maybe sort of 10%, sort of 14% Christian. Got a tiny amount of Buddhists. A very surprisingly low amount of sort of Muslims, which I was quite surprised by that. Now I suppose for the channel it sort of makes sense, but considering the popularity of the religion, I was quite surprised. Especially compared to Christianity, but I suppose it's not that popular a religion in the West necessarily. So anyway, how many people can't get to the US? God, right? Yeah. Do you have any pets? Cats, dogs. How many people's pets died? That's a statistic. More people have dogs. Tiny amount of people have dogs. I mean, it's pretty much the same. It's in margin of error, really. Except for the fish. Look at that. The fish dropped by about 2%, 1.5%. A bunch of fish died in the past year, clearly. They would, wouldn't they? Aside from that, yeah, it's about the same. Horses. People who've gotten rid of the horse. I mean, it's a margin of error, really. Enough for the pets. Dogs, obviously, the most popular. Cats, close second. They should really be first. Cats are the superior animal. Fish, 9%, because goldfish are easy peasy. Reptiles, quite low. I was quite surprised by the small amount of birds. I had a bird when I was younger, an African grey parrot, which is still alive. He lives with my mother. Because they live for 60 years. So when I'm in my goddamn 80s, he'll probably still be alive. But yeah, I'm surprised by the lack of birds. Birds are lovely animals. They're a pain in the ass, but they're very interesting animals. They're very beautiful animals. They can fly, they can bite, they can scratch, they can be little boisterous bastards. They can talk, a lot of them. So birds are very good. They're more difficult to take care of. Birds, I think, is probably why. Rabbits quite low. Surprised by the small amount of rabbits. Hamsters, well, surprised by the small amount of hamsters. Really, more people have horses than have mice or rats. And mice and rats are great pets. Like, they're great pets. You know, if you like hamsters, mice and rats are like basically more intelligent, bigger hamsters. I don't know why more people have horses. Other, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck would other be? Like, other... Like, insects? Like, you got ants? I don't know. Fuck. They can fly. Look, cats are superior, right? Many people will argue with me on this, right? Because you're like, oh, cats don't show you affection, cats don't. Well, you know what? That's the good thing about cats, right? They are independent. They're not dogs. Just dogs are dogs. They're stupid. Dogs are stupid. They're stupid. God. And dogs are great. They're very affectionate. You know, they will most assuredly miss you. They are a very good companion dogs. But you know what? In a pet, I don't want a companion. Right? If I want a companion, I'll go find an escort, right? But a cat's a good pet because a pet, right? It's really cat will go off and it'll do its own thing and it'll wander around the garden. And might bring in a mouse for you and you'll be like, I don't want this mouse. The cat's like, meow, here's a mouse. You're like, ah. But cats are intelligent. Cats have a mind of their own, and cats are clever. That's why I like cats. Also, cats wash themselves, and they will, like, especially if you've got an outdoor cat, which I think outdoor cats are much better. You know, dogs will just shit. You need to take them out, and they'll shit on the floor, and then you need to pick up the shit. Cats, they'll dig a hole. They'll take a shit, and they'll bury the shit. They're very clean, cats. They're very low maintenance compared to dogs. You don't have to wash them. You don't have to clean up after them. You just need to feed them, and they give you love and affection. Dogs are great. Best dogs. Anyway, employment status. Which I imagine at least this has changed. Oh god, that's changed quite a lot. Ooh. Oh, that's an interesting statistic. That's last year. That's this year. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Yeah. Look at that. Because assuming, if people last year would have a lot of people last year would have left school and would have got a job by now. So there we go. Look at that. Reflects that pretty well. That's last year's. This is this year. So there we go. We're sort of employed. Yeah, look at that. People have left home and left school and gotten jobs. A lot less unemployed people as well. Look at that. Look at that. That's still quite high, 7.4% unemployed, but that's about probably close to the unemployment rate of the country, of the respective countries. I think it's probably about that in the US. I think it's 6% in the US, 5% in the US. Probably about that in the UK as well. I don't know the UK unemployment rate. But yeah, there we go. That's quite an interesting one. The employment sector. Does that make sense for people getting older? Job sector. Job sector probably hasn't. We'll say that. Oh, yeah, there we go. That makes sense. So a lot of the people who went into these jobs this year, or who've joined the channel this year or whatever, are in technology. Like, that's a huge boost. They're 9% this year versus 4% last year. So I'm assuming, if you know, I imagine a lot of the people who last year answered were in school and they went on to do into a technology job. That's interesting. So arts music 2.6 versus 1.2. So yeah, that's improved. So yeah, people have sort of went into a bunch of people who got jobs in the tech and art industry. Good job. Why don't you split the student into GCSE, A-level, uni? Because this is an international form. It's an international form, and I'm trying to make it as general as possible to not just appeal to people in the UK, people in the United States, and people in Canada, people in France, and Germany, and the Netherlands, and Scandinavia, and India, and Russia. You know, it's got to be general. Now, because of the huge amount of UK and US people, I may make a specialized version for the US and UK, just because there's so many. I think that might be worth it, but that's why, at least, I've done it. Is it not common in the UK for students to have jobs? No. Not at all. Some people have, maybe a couple of people have a weekend job. For the most part, in the UK, if you're a student, at least if you're, high school age, you won't have a job. No. I mean, because the government will give you a student allowance. The government will pay you money. and they'll also pay your parents money if your child is in education. So not much. No, it's hard, quite very hard to get a job over here as well. It's not that the culture is not quite the same in the US. It's there's a lot more red tape to get a job here in some ways. You need national insurance number. You don't get national insurance number until you're 16. And if you're in college, it's just, yeah. A lot of people in uni have jobs. They will, but yeah. Anyway, and you don't get paid. You get paid fuck all when you're 16 to 18 as well. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You work what? You work 5 hours and you get maybe fucking 20 quid, 20, 30 quid. That's more like 25 quid. You work 5 hours, That's probably less than that, It's not really worth it. You'll get more. The EMA doesn't exist. They scrapped it. I swear they have a they have a replacement. I know other people get a replacement. Maybe in England. I know people in Northern Ireland still get something similar. I don't know. We'll see. I just probably changed since I went. Formal education completed. This is the question. I kind of generalized it. High school in the US would be our secondary school and sixth form combined into one. I say that. The first couple of years of secondary school will be middle school. But, again, trying to keep it general just to, make it more international. But I think I will just have a question of, are you from the UK, US, other? And then from the UK, I'll give you a UK question. From the US, I'll give you a US-based one. And if other, it'll just give you this one again. Which isn't ideal, but, you get more of an idea for what you're looking at. Yeah. They pay $7.62 an hour at Tesco. Oh, look at that. That's good. You're 17 and have a job. I'm sure a lot of you do. It's just not incredibly common. You have to be 18 to work now. You have to be in education until you're 18. You don't have to. You can still get a job. You can still get a part-time job, or you can get an apprenticeship. The education doesn't necessarily have to be sixth form. You can get an apprenticeship as well, as long as you're getting a qualification of some description out of it, and that counts as a job because you'll get paid by that. Even you'll get paid shit. You'll get paid like $2.50 an hour. But see, I was one of the last breed to be able to not do my sixth form, and I dropped out of education at 16. So I'm a high school dropout for the US. Hey, so yeah, that's how much for. I don't know why I said this. I asked. Yeah, this is. I can't remember. This is from Facebook or this is from a dang website. I can't remember. Yeah, but most people in high school, it's just based on age, really, isn't it? Dropouts. High school dropouts, 2%. And uni dropouts, 4%. That's quite a high amount of dropouts for university, but that makes sense. University, I think a lot of people go to university because they are culturally expected to, and they go there and they realize, oh, wait, shit, this isn't for me at all. Or they go and do a degree they don't want to do, or... Yeah, uni, I always say uni's not for everyone, and it might be better to, take a gap year or whatever and figure out what you want to do before spending a lot of money on university. Especially now when university degrees are a lot less useful in a lot of fields. You can drop out at 16 in the UK. Nope, not anymore. You can't drop out. You have to legally complete education. You have to be in education, even if that's an apprenticeship or a BTEC or sixth form or college, but you have to stay in education. Yep, until 18, till the age of 18. They introduced this a few years ago. Yes. Anyway, money possessions, income level. Wait, Aaron. There you go. Income level. Now, this is probably based very similarly on the other ones. Again, more people earning money this year because more people have jobs. That's nice to see. More people, hopefully buy our games. But yeah, give me an opinion, BTEC. I do not have one. I don't know enough. Much like a lot of policy decisions in politics, I will not comment on something if I don't know enough about it. Now I'm gonna actually check this because some of these money. Check how far along we are. Cool, that's fine. Yeah. These questions are originally put in as This question was stolen from the DFTBA census, which is actually what inspired the Vlog census, which sort of inspired this coming out. This question specifically was more to do with how we could do merch and stuff like that, And we sell our merch as cheap as we can. We take cuts. We barely make anything off merch just to make it cheaper. That's fine. Hard to buy a game you won't release. Oh, well, hey, we had a games developer meeting yesterday, and it's on track. At least one of them is. So there's going to be a game out in the first half of this year. I can pretty much guarantee you that. I call myself a political commentator. it's in inverted commas, mate. And talking about politics doesn't necessarily mean knowing everything about politics. That's the key. I don't comment on things I don't know anything about. Right. What devices do you own? Here we go. I hate this. This looks like shit, but it's the best way I could think to do it. Obviously, some new devices have came out since last year's one, which is why there's literally more. Obviously, you've got VR now, which wasn't included last year, but VR is definitely included this year, along with the new versions of the PS4 and Xbox One. PS4 Pro, nobody fucking bought that. I mean, this was near launch, and this was before Christmas, mind. So, it might be better to do this, January, have the census run in January. Well, here we are, it's better to compare to previous ones if you do it in December, like every other one. Most people have game PCs. A lot of people have Android phones, tablets. See, nobody has Windows phones, tablets. The Vita, surprisingly, 10% of people who aren't, or 9% of people who aren't, have a Vita, which, we're constantly people are talking about, the idea of making stuff for VR, but you can see the very small amount of VR adoption there. All of them. Obviously, Google Cardboard, 10%, but it's literally a bit of cardboard. That you stick your phone into. I don't really think that counts. But all the Oculuses combined with the Vive and Daydream, and Gear VR and PlayStation VR do not amount to the amount of Vita owners. And it's quite interesting that I suppose VR is a new market, but I always find it quite sad that the Vita is so ignored. I don't own a Vita personally. I don't like portable gaming, but it's a very good device, the Vita. And it's quite a shame that no one's made games for it. Clearly a bunch of people own it. It's not like it's not the market's not there necessarily. It's just, well, there's a question. Where is Mac? Oh yeah. Probably should include that next time. This is more specifically gaming. I think most people who buy. I suppose I should include that last year. Next year, I will include that next year. There wasn't really a thought. I suppose that'd really be in these sections here, the gaming ones. I want to redo these next time. I don't really like how these are formatted. It's the best way I could think to at the time. Most people have a basic laptop. Most people have. PS4 is very popular. Xbox 360 is very popular. The Wii is very popular. Of everything, most people own a Wii. Next to it, just the standard, basic laptop. Then a mid-range gaming desktop, very popular mid-range gaming desktops as well. You get your 360 and your PS4 and your PS3, which is same amount of owners. It's Xbox One right down there. And the Wii U. This seems to be the cut-off here, this little cut here. There's liners for, the things get made for it. Vita, Wii U, no. Xbox One, yes. It's quite sad, really, isn't it? Oh, well. People have Wii. There's no reason to get rid of a Wii, is there? Wii's still a good thing. I have a Wii U. And the reason I like having the Wii U is because it does all the Wii U stuff. And it's a Wii. Because it has a full Wii emulator on. So... And you can run all the Virtual Console games, which is great. It's a great all-in-one Nintendo device, really, the Wii U is. I do like the Wii U. I think a lot of people own it and not use it. I think next year I'll do something similar to what I did with the one of the earlier questions and have what ones do you use regularly as well. I'll do that for next year. See, learning. It's very hard to add questions to this I want to put out because the form just lags to absolute shit. You can play games on the Mac. Yeah, you can play games on the Mac. The Mac App Store has good amount of portals. It's got Civ 6 on and everything like that. You get Bioshock Infinite on the Mac. The problem is obviously that the systems aren't exactly designed for it, and the ports often aren't very good. If a game is made natively for Mac using Metal and everything like that, which is the sort of version of DirectX, they can run very well because Macs have very good optimization and they can really, pull everything out of like a lower-end Mac will outperform a lot of PCs in certain tasks just through optimization. But ports aren't necessarily great. A lot of them run in a wine wrapper, which is basically like an emulation wrapper. A lot of them don't run great, and most Macs don't have the power to really run stuff. My iMac I've got is pretty high end iMac. One of the top end iMacs, and I could probably play a lot of AAA games that's low on it, fine. But you wouldn't really, would you? I mean, half my Steam games work on a Mac. So that's the one thing. Like I say, a lot of people say, "Oh, 1 FPS." Yeah, you would. Like I tried Bioshock Infinite on my MacBook, my Retina MacBook, which is a really thin MacBook with no fan or anything, and it ran at 10 FPS on low, which was better. It's still better than I was expecting, but it's still terrible. And a lot of Macs don't really have the power, so fine, whatever. Wine's not an emulator. No, I know Wine's not an emulator, but I was just trying to. It's not an emulator, but it's like a wrapper that translates. Look, whatever. Device you supposed to game on? Oh, I did ask that question. Sort of. I'll have the third question, which is what you actually use regularly. But yeah, obviously most people use the game PCs to game on. Xbox One quite regularly. Nobody mainly games on. Nobody mainly games on sort of like the 3DS or anything anymore. Most people are sort of going for the Xbox One, PS4. And that's the thing, like, it's very easy to look at these numbers here and go, oh, the PS4 is vastly more people have it. Yeah, vastly more people have it. If you look at the numbers here, not that many more people play on the PS4, so I suppose maybe that's why. Yeah, you are enjoying the graphs. I've been going for a lot longer. I wanted to keep this under an hour, and I've been going just over an hour now. I'm almost done. God, yeah, Ubuntu fucking hell. Ubuntu runs fucking less games than goddamn OS X. How do you mainly watch YouTube videos? This interests me. A lot more people watch YouTube videos on tablets and phones and TVs than I was expecting. Especially Dan's always had the view of most people are watching on TVs and stuff like that, desktops and stuff like that, which, the annotations argument. Putting links in the chat description and all that. But now, obviously, you can see how many people are using mobile devices. It's pretty large. And thankfully, the new annotation system YouTube introduced is good is something people have been asking for a long time. It works on all devices. You can copy templates from previous videos, so it just makes doing end screens fucking easy as piss. Mac OS, fucking Mac OS. Look, I've been calling it OS X since fucking fucking 4. Give me a break. Would console viewing fall on the TV? Yeah, console viewing fall on the TV. Like, you're watching it on a TV. It's like, that's it. It doesn't matter how you're watching it on the TV as long as you're watching it on a TV. Like on a sofa and a TV, whatever. Whether you're watching through a console or a smart TV or an Apple TV or a Fire TV or an Android, but whatever, you're watching it on a TV. Watching it on TV is like ever. Well, I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos on TV now. Because I got an Apple TV and I started using that pretty regularly. So if I'm using I've got my laptop up, because I use that MacBook. There'll be an AirPlay button built into the YouTube browser video. I just click that and it'll go on the TV, and it's the same if you've got a Chromecast or something like that. You'll be able to stream it directly to the Chromecast on TV. So it's very low effort, I think, if you've got the integrated devices. Mac OS doesn't sound as cool as OS X, but they want to introduce whatever. Cigarettes. Here's the interesting one. I added vape this time, and cigarettes. Most people don't smoke cigarettes, unsurprisingly. Most people are young on here and reasonably introverted and reasonably responsible, so they don't smoke. You shouldn't smoke. Don't smoke, kids. 2.1% smoke. 1.7% sometimes, which, I'd really consider sometimes like, once a week or whatever, you don't, if someone gives you one. When drinking, 3% when drinking, which is a hard statistic to look at because how often do you drink? If you're drinking every night, it's pretty regular. And then you've got your trying to quit at 0.7%, which is quite low. Actually, it's sadly quite low. Oh, what the fuck? My mic is move forward. I shouldn't have done that. Cool. Oh, no, you know what? That's fine there because the volume is balanced. That death sticks, yeah, the good old death sticks. And then I had a vape. I had a vape this year. A lot more people vape. Well, I say that like more people vape regularly than smoke normally, but like a lot less people vape. Which I find interesting that the vape is so low, because I really think if you are smoking, you should probably vape instead. I've actually considered. I considered trying. It's one of those things that I wanted to try. Like try the non-nicotine ones. It's the flavored, like, get a cherry cola flavor, cola cube flavored non-nicotine one and just mess with smoke. I was tempted to do that. It's kind of expensive though, and I'm not going to do it regularly or anything like that. I kind of wanted to just try it. It's not addictive if you're not using the nicotine. It's still harmful. It's a lot less harmful than smoking, but it's a lot less harmful, and you can't get addicted to it if it's not the nicotine one. So I was tempted to try it, but alas, I'm not going to spend the money on it. And also, it makes you look like a fucking twat. I think that's probably it as well. Like, probably a lot of the reason people don't vape or smoke is vaping makes you look like a twat. Which it shouldn't, really. It's the much more responsible version of smoking, but it's sort of like wearing a helmet, isn't it? Putting both straps on your bag. It's like, okay, yeah, it's better, but, you're wearing knee pads, you look like a twat, it's smoking. I haven't been around a smoker in years. I've been around a smoker in years. I've been around people smoking weed. Not that I know, just you can find the station, but I'm never an actual smoker. Actually, I take that back. My aunt smokes. No, she doesn't. She was giving up. She's vaping now. About my aunt's husband. I can't remember. Fuck, it's been a while. Do you drink alcohol? This one's interesting. Never is 44%, which I'm assuming is a lot of people who are just young and whatever. They just don't drink because they're too young or whatever. They don't care. Rarely 20%. Socially 25%, often at 6.8%, and very often at 2.3%. I'm concerned for your very oftens. I'm concerned about your very oftens. You might have a problem, right? You might have a problem. I'd rather not say. I like that. 22 people, but I don't want to tell you if I drink alcohol. You're going to tell my mum. Oh no, my mum's going to find out I've been drinking with my friends. I love that. That's hilarious to me. Putting voice drops in it is a very 90s 23, isn't it? Do you smoke marijuana? A lot more people smoke the marijuana than the cigarettes or the vape, which was very surprising to me, considering out of all of them, it's the only one that's illegal. It's like the illegal one is more popular than the legal things. Which, I mean, marijuana is less harmful for you than smoking cigarettes, and it is probably a bit more. It's more potent in what it does. It's more of an acute thing. I probably should have included sort of yes. I included different answers, but I should have probably put very often stuff to see how often people did it, because yes is very vague. Obviously, a lot of people do it socially and stuff like that, but that's interesting. Other potentially illegal drugs. This is basically just saying, do you do heroin? Do you do ketamine? Do you do fucking drug names? I don't know. Some people do. And that's the thing. Yeah, weed is legal for a lot of places now. So it's I suppose a lot more reasonable. It is used for medical purposes. Now other illegal drugs. Yeah, this is basically just, do you do anything else? Anything else that's an illegal drug? Whether they be more or less harmful. I wasn't going to ask for specifics. But yeah, and sometimes there we go. 1%. Quite not that many. But still quite a few. Still quite a few. Don't do drugs, kids. Bad for you. Cheese or chocolate. This was a question from last year, which I just left in. I'm just going to keep adding to these questions. Last year it was 71 to 28. This year it's 69 to 30. So more people are growing up and they're realizing the superiority of cheese over chocolate in a lot of situations. Because cheese or chocolate, right? Now, if it's a question of you're presented with cheese or chocolate and you go, which one would you like to eat right now? I think it's varied depending on your view. Most people probably choose chocolate because it suits better at most times. But if it's specifically like, if you could only have one of those things the rest of your life, as in you have to choose either between not having any chocolate but you can have cheese, or you're not allowed any cheese but you can have chocolate, you totally choose cheese, because cheese is a much more flexible thing. You can eat it, you can have it on crackers, you have it on your pizzas, you put it in loads of different foods. It's great cheese. Oh, mwah, cheese. Or you can have them together. I'm quite a fan of. I buy this little you get these little bags of like just little sort of bite-sized cheeses. It's not sort of like I can't remember what they're fucking called. Baby Bells. It's not like that size, but there's like a lot of different types of cheeses, you know. And you have that, and you have like I have one of those, and I have myself a little Twix. No, fuck. It's the Cadbury. It's like a flake, but with chocolate on top. It's one of those. I have both of those together. And it's very. You have the cheese first, and you have the chocolate. It's a nice palate. Very nice. It's very posh. You see, chocolate covered cheese is not very good. I ain't talking about cheese for a while. Anyway, pineapple on pizza. This was quite a hot topic this year. It's quite a hot topic. You know, you thought fucking Trump and Clinton was a hot topic. Boy, oh boy, getting the pineapple on pizza debate. Boy, oh giddy gee willikers. Yeah, most people don't like pineapple on pizza. 60%. Not huge. Like, it's, you know, it's still 40% do like it, which is a very big number. It's not a decisive victory, but it's most assuredly more people dislike pineapple on pizza. So there is a scientific answer for you. I have no opinion on the matter because pineapple on pizza is most traditionally on Hawaiian pizza, and I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat Hawaiian pizzas. I should probably try it on a pizza sometimes. I can find something that pineapple works with. It's not, you know, meats and ham and shit. Just out of curiosity. Same reason you don't put jam on meat. Well, I mean, I want to put it out right. I've had pizzas that, like, pizzas with chocolate on. You know, like dessert pizzas. I think Papa John's is like a cinnamon chocolate dessert pizza. Or you get chocolate spring rolls. I've had chocolate spring rolls before, where it's a spring roll with chocolate inside and you dip it in ice cream. So really, pineapple on pizza to me, it's bread. It's a bread base that you can put whatever you want on, and some things are a bit more unusual, but you know, whatever. Jesus, let's just put chocolate on the pizza next. Look, you know what? Look, see, look at this. I said I'm a vegetarian, not a vegan. Me and sweet. Well, you know, contrast can be good. I mean, if you don't like it, it's fine. It's fine. You know. I could have started the debate. Oh, shouldn't have brought pineapples versus pizzas. Oh boy, general political standing. This gets on to the nitty gritty. I mean, I know the pineapple and pizza debate is pretty nitty gritty, but this is the real life nitty gritty, right? Most people, unsurprisingly, left wing, pretty moderately left wing. This would be sort of 1 being extremely left wing, 2 being moderately left wing, 3 being slightly left wing, 4 being sort of middle, 5 being slightly right wing, 6. Obviously, political spectrums are a lot more complicated than this, but this is just to get a general idea of people's sort of standing. Got complaints about it going, oh, you should be giving all the options. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about all the options. People know what this means, and it gives me a vague idea of people's political views. So, there we go. Most people left wing. Unsurprisingly, it's almost like, you know, Nerdcubed's very outspoken left wing. There we go. What did you vote in the Brexit referendum? 55% of people don't live in the UK, which is about the amount of people who don't live in the UK. So clearly nobody lied about that, or you know, there's a very insignificant amount of people who lied about that. Now, a lot of people didn't vote because they weren't allowed. So you're talking sort of this sort of quarter here is 2% of people didn't vote at all. This is this percent is you're eligible to vote. You're in the UK, but you didn't choose to vote. Shame on you. Shame on you. There's basically no excuse to not vote. You could do postal votes. The voting stations are pretty close by. They're open until about 10 p.m. Votes are important. Vote. Right? Vote. Vote. Thank you. Okay. With the 1 and the 7, to clarify, like, it doesn't mean you're fascist or communist. I mean, that wasn't really implied. You know, I think you can be very, very left wing and not be a communist. Is you know, I mean, if you assume there's a 0 and there's an 8 and that's communist and fascist, and 1 and the 7, that would be, you know, what I'd maybe neither side appealed to them in the Brexit referendum. Maybe neither side appealed to them. Well, you go and you vote and you spoil your ballot. You don't not vote. You go. You vote. Anyway, I probably should have asked specifically. I wasn't able to vote because of age, nationality, whatever. But I would have voted, and out of curiosity, see, I mean, based on the stay and leave, very few people voted leave. In the community. I know I've seen some people on Twitter who've said they voted leave, and that's fine. But that is that's the statistic, which is unsurprising. I put this one here, vote. This wasn't a what you voted. This was just choose. 7.3% of people chose Donald Trump. Now, I'm not sure whether they were joking or whether they were serious. It's quite hard to tell because it wasn't a serious question necessarily. But that was quite higher than I was expecting. More people chose Donald than chose Gary Johnson and Jill Stein. Now, in fairness, Gary Johnson and Jill Stein are also terrible. And I don't like this question. It was very high, justifiably. Most people chose Hillary Clinton, though, which, again, unsurprising based on the left-wing political standing question. General understanding of science. This question, I sort of asked a few of these questions previously. How into science are you? How scientifically educated are you? Some people are hardcore enthusiasts, they read scientific articles, they go to, this is pretty much the same as last year's one. I say that. A lot more people clearly got more scientifically educated. What's this one? Educated to a high level. Yeah, more people clearly have. More people have. Oh wait, no, I added a thing. I think this year. Bachelor's 4.7 this year. Yeah, so more people got degrees. More people got degrees. Doctorates 1.5. Yeah, so more, about the same. So yeah, more people got bachelor's degrees in science field, so that's good to know. That makes sense based on the people who just graduated this year. So that's fair enough. I'm glad people have such a high understanding of science, which again makes sense. It's a sort of a young, mainly sort of liberal, nerdy audience. So it makes sense that you're into fucking science. Same with computers, similar statistic. You know enough about computers to, quite a lot of computer enthusiasts, quite a lot of people educated to a high level in computing. So that's, again, expected. Can you drive? Was a question. There it is. Can you drive? About the same compared to last year. More people have licenses this year. Actually, I say about the same, but about another 6% of people have licenses this year. Which is quite a good thing. I mean, having a license is very useful. A lot of people have a car, clearly as well. Having a license is very useful. Driver's license is very useful, even if you don't drive. A lot less people are getting driver's licenses, but they're still useful to get. Definitely, a lot of jobs require them. Especially, and if you're in the US especially, it's pretty much a necessity. But if you're in the UK, or Europe, it's pretty doable to get around using public transport. But yeah, so good. I'm glad you're educating yourself. How do you usually get around the place? There we go. This is literally just how you get around. A lot of people drive. 20%. Was that question I asked? Yes. A carpool. There we go. I drive 40% last year. 20% this year. So look at that. More people driving about. Less people carpool. Family member drives you. So more people just being more independent, getting older, more independently getting around. Again. Good trend to see. This is stuff I'd love to graph over time. Obviously, as people get older, they're getting more educated, they're getting more independent. That's a very clear thing to see, which I quite like. That's cool. A lot of people, I added tram, because a lot of people complain, but tram, no one fucking uses trams. I should probably just include train/tram. But whatever. Cycle, walking, drive. It's a sort of expected thing, really. Not many people have motorbikes, though. Which surprised me. Not a lot of people have motorbikes. Like 57%. Like you'd expect more people have motorbikes as well, because you can get a scooter very cheap at the age of 16, and you can get a CBT very easily and cheap. So I'm surprised more people don't have scooters and motorcycles, but whatever. Time spent on the internet per day. A lot of people spend a lot of time on the internet per day. That's, again, expected. Fully expected. I'm in the 10 plus hour category, but in fairness, I work from home on the internet, so... That makes sense, I suppose. Playing video games per day. Yep, again, 2 to 4 hours. Good statistic. 1 to 2 hours, yeah, 12%. I probably should have put I don't in this, because I imagine a lot of people... I should have put none, because just because you play watch Nerdcubed doesn't necessarily mean you play games. Because me, I don't play games every day, and when I do, I play them sparingly, so, probably 0 to 1 for me. Yeah, I'll have that next year. That's the thing I'll have for next year. 2 to 4 probably all lies. That, yeah. I think a lot of people on these things, they probably underestimate or they overestimate. I think especially with the weight thing, underestimate or overestimate. How much time do you spend watching TV shows, movies per day? We get quite a low amount of this. A lot more people seem to spend their time playing games. A lot of people, 10% don't watch TV or movies. Most days, God damn, there's some good TV and movies out there. Go watch it. For load of good movies at the moment. Oscar movies, come on. Jesus Christ, Mary and Joseph. Favorite genre of TV, show, or movie? Again, this is a very, very vague question here, just to get an idea of sort of people's genre taste. Most people like sci-fi and fantasy or comedy. Makes sense. Quite a few people who like anime and manga. Action. Thriller. Not enough. Very few horror fans. Sitcoms, cartoons, dramas, thrillers. Horror. I sort of like the dramas and the thrillers myself. But most people like the comedies and the sci-fi fantasies, and it's fair enough. That makes sense. Expected. How much time are you spending listening to music? This interests me because I think most people would expect listen to music so passively. You listen to it in the background, you listen to it while walking about. Or you listen to it just sat doing other stuff like I do. It's quite low. Surprisingly, I was expecting sort of higher, especially considering the amount of time playing video games. I was expecting music to be higher, but it's not. It's quite lower than I'd expect. Favorite music genre? Got a bit of flack for this because I made it a bit too general. The sub thing for this question was choose the one closest. So I've got some people complaining about some specific genres, like when prog isn't in there, and I was saying, well, look, prog would be close enough to. It's not the same, but you know what? Prog would be close enough, depending on your style of prog you like it. That would be close enough to classic rock, or would it be close enough to hard rock, metal, Choose the one closest enough, right? Some people said, J-pop wasn't on there, so I chose the second favourite, classical. And the question was really, if you like J-pop, choose K-pop. Close enough, just to give me a vague idea. That's all I'm looking for, a vague idea. But I'll make sure to add more genres to it next year. The problem is I don't want to add too many genres to it because it overcomplicates it, and I'll probably just put K-pop, J-pop, whatever. I'll try and do it. But it's very varied bunch of music here. Most people sort of like your rocks, unsurprisingly, your pops, quite a few electronic, dubstep, dance music people, which I was very surprised of. I really don't like kind of music personally. A lot of people do. Hip-hop rap's quite low for hip-hop rap. I'm quite a fan of the hip-hop, but 7%, quite low for hip-hop. Classical, low. And the most disappointing of all, right, K-pop is quite low, but most disappointing of all, right, soul, funk, and jazz, 2.9%. I'm very disappointed. I am very disappointed in you all as fans of oh, you uncultured swines, you. Oh, you uncultured swine. Oh, you don't like jazz and funk and soul. Well, what do you fucking do? Go back to listening to your Bustards and your Blink-182s, you uncultured millennials, you. Time spent reading books per day. Unsurprisingly, a lot of people don't read books. I'm not surprised at that statistic, to be perfectly honest. You'd almost rather certain this to hip-hop rap. Well, hip-hop and rap are definitely different. Most assuredly. I don't like rap. I like hip-hop. There's a difference. There's a difference. I'd listen to it because I had that view for a long time until like a couple of years ago when I actually started listening to more music and I went, oh, Anyway, Truth and Jazz, bro. God. Books. Read more. I would have been interested, right? I want to separate out these questions next year. Because I think a lot of people probably read books in school, and I want to separate out the question to how much time do you spend reading books? I want to make it more specific. How much time do you spend reading books for, like, in your spare time per day? You know, how reading for leisure as opposed to reading for school, and maybe separate them out. You know, that'd be interesting. What's the difference? Rap is, you know, it's hard to explain. You'd have to listen. Hip hop's a bit more. I'd say it's kind of the difference between blues and rock and roll, if you can catch my drift. It's a bit more. It's soulful. I don't know how to describe it. I think the closest. I'd say it's kind of similar difference between blues and rock. You know, very similar, but they are different. You know. You never read books. I think a lot of people don't read books. I mean, I love reading. I have a lot of books. But I find it very hard to read books because I can't do anything else while I'm reading a book. And I'm generally quite a busy person. So that's why I listen to a lot of music and I watch a lot of films, because I can watch a film in the background while doing other stuff, and I can listen to music in the background while doing other stuff. I can watch TV in the background while doing other stuff. But I can't read a book while doing other stuff. I can't go through a spreadsheet, for example, with a book on in the background. You know, that's not a thing I can do. Yeah, you know. Yeah, well, I get that thing about reading a ton at once. I have done that a few times where I go, oh, reading's great, and I'll reload. I'll go through like fucking 7 books in like 3 days or something like that. But like, oh, back to reality now, and I'll go ahead. You know, and my personal, the kind of books I like, I very much like your sort of action thrillers. You know, you're kind of Tom Clancy, you're Alex Cross. You know, you're fucking espionage, and you know, it's really. I love the I've been sick, and I'm still sick, which is why there's no new Skyrim video out for those of you who watch my channel. The Bridget Tom Clancy adaptations, Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, Hunt for Red October, and I can't remember. Fuck. Basically, one is one's Ben Affleck, 2 are Harrison Ford, and one Hunt for Red October is Alec Baldwin. There we go. They're all great films. They're all these classic like 80s kind of spy action thrillers, and the cheesy kind of. I like them. I love that kind of. I love them with books. Well, my favorite kind of books. Stuff are you into right now? This is a general question I just sort of asked. Like, what are you into? What do you like right now? Whatever it is, what you're into, a specific game, or, you know, I think people were a bit vague with it. Games, YouTube. That's a very, you know, I want like games, anime. You know, tell me what anime you're into. Tell me what YouTube. You know, I want like, what are you into right now? That's kind of the question. I'm gonna try and make that more specific next year. A lot of nulls. It's just how this fucking summary sorts them. Unfortunately, I have to look at that spreadsheet to get the useful things. What smartphone do you use day to day? Most popular smartphone was the iPhone 6, 6S, and the iPhone 5. Obviously, this makes sense. Obviously, there's a lot of iOS users out there, but very limited selection of phones for iOS users. So it makes sense that, you know, these you know, selection of phones are so popular. And then you've got this huge selection of Android phones here. Got a lot of complaints going, oh, you didn't include my Android phone, and I could have included another, but it means it doesn't graph properly, and I like seeing these summarized graphs. So I tried to put as many phones as I could, really, as many popular phones as I could at the very least. Not to mention, this is more of a thing as well, if we ever make sort of phone cases, which I think we did make phone cases. GameTeam made a phone case briefly for iPhones. You know, what phones to make cases for, really. Obviously, because, you know, it makes sort of sense. The Samsung phone's quite popular, the iPhone's quite popular. Makes sense, really, doesn't it? Unsurprising. Yeah, the S6 is the S6. There's the S6 at 4.3%. I don't have a smartphone. Is 4.2%. 4.2% don't own smartphones. Why? Separate by brand. That I could have. Yeah, I could. I don't know, yeah, I could do a brand one, and then I could do it, because the problem is, like, obviously, saying, oh, I own an iPhone, to me, as someone who's possibly want to look at this to make merch, I can't look at it and go, what iPhone? I don't. I need more information than that to make like merch or whatever. Where that comes into use is up for debate. But I like to have the use there though. Also, getting to the Nerdcubed questions, which are just fucking. They're just more questions for our curiosity, really. I don't think they're that interesting. So I'm going to skip over those. Merch questions. Basically, about 50% of people aren't interested in merch, which, fair enough. The opinions on us, which is all these text boxes, so I can't go through them. Whose videos do you watch? Oh god, it's just a big fucking complicated thing now. Here we go. I'll go over the Nerdcube Games section. Here we go. Nerdcube Games questions. How often do you download and play Nerdcube Games? This question, I want to point out, I wrote last year, and I wrote expecting more games to come out last year, which is why I copied it to this year. It's a very stupid question because we only have 2 games out and they're both free. So, it doesn't really work, that question, but we'll skip over that because one day it will work and the question will make sense. How would you prefer to acquire Nerdcubed made PC games? Most people want to buy them on Steam. Interestingly, this is an interesting question here. Because this is what we banked on quite a few times about when we discussed games, saying, we can give them away for free, but if we sell them on Steam, a lot of people will just opt to buy it on Steam rather than get it for free. And this showed, download them for free as torrents, legally. Download them for free from itch.io. The free options are the fucking least checked. Most people would rather actually buy it on Steam. Interestingly. I find that quite surprising. Quite good, though. What kind of games would you like? Most people would like paid for PC games. Maybe it's not that much interest in mobile. Some of the games we make, we have discussed this recently about the idea of perhaps putting some of the games we make on mobile if they work for mobile. One of the games we're playing with at the moment might work for mobile, so we'll see. It's something that we're not good for. We probably have to source someone to port them properly, though, because we're not really good designing for mobile, as you saw from Pie Fight. If you ever played Pie Fight on Android, you will note the port is not great. If you've ever played Pie Fight on iOS, you know the port's pretty alright. But the reason the port on iOS is pretty alright is because it was recoded by an iOS developer. That's why the iOS port is much better. But it is not on the iOS App Store anymore because our developer license expired and we didn't renew it because we weren't planning to make mobile games at the time. So we'll probably renew it soon because, yes. So, but not doing it. Never mind transactions though. So, well, you say free to play, but the problem is saying free mobile game, that doesn't mean free to play, right? You can make a mobile game like Pie Fight, which is just a free game. A free game is not microtransaction laden. It's important to make the distinction there, right? You don't play systems nominal on mobile, but it never work on mobile. No console game. See, maybe one day. That's the thing. If a game works, we could potentially port it. Depends how the games are. It's a case by case basis, really. Whether it would work on other platforms, we'll totally look into putting it on other platforms. So, what kinds of games would you like to see? Most people would seem to prefer smaller, cheaper games 1 or 2 times a year, as opposed to very small games or larger games. And this is sort of what we're aiming for: is this sort of smaller, sort of mid-sized, cheaper games. 1 or 2 times a year. Obviously, currently we're working on one of these smaller games at the moment, which is hopefully the one that will come out hot in the first half of this year. Working on a larger game as well, which will probably be out in I don't know when, but it'll probably take a while. So yeah, that's quite an interesting thing. You have to sign an even look at well, fucking what operating system do you mainly use? This interested me. I'm gonna get up last year's one actually. I'm gonna hide this because I have to scroll past all this information. Oh god, this is the Nerdcubed servers one as well. God, here we go. Right, so, desktop operating system. This is last year's, this is this year's. Now, you see that big purple one that just fucking destroys everything else this year? That, ladies and gentlemen, is Windows 10. Windows 10 has just... The adoption rate for Windows 10 is insane. Like, look, that's Windows fucking 8 there, fucking green, and it just kills it. Fuck you, Windows 8, fuck you. Oh, when I love this. I love this because this is one with Windows for ages. There is their adoption, and this is one of the reasons Mac is so stable, because everyone's on the same OS on Mac. So when you roll out an update, everyone gets it. Pretty much that's been the problem with Windows for a while. Everyone's on different systems and different hardware, and everyone's different operating systems of different generations because they like this one more than that one. And Windows 10, I think Windows 10 is probably the and it did force itself on people. It is true, they did, and I think they knew why they had to. I want to point out, it wasn't fully forced. You could opt out, but it was It was opt out in the sense of somebody holding you down, trying to stick a piece of bread in your mouth, and you're like, no, I don't want this, and they're like, no, yes, you do. And like, you can opt out by kicking them in the groin and running away, but it's not really an opt-out system, is it? But no, yeah, I think Windows 10, especially if you're on Windows 8, is better. If you're on Windows 7, I think Windows 10 is better. I think Windows 10 is just a better operating system. It's still Windows, it's still got all the Windows problems. It causes problems by forcing itself on people. I think having that adoption rate is very, very good for developers. It makes it a lot easier for developers to develop for a more consistent system. Because if you look at this, like Windows 7, it was 32% last year, 16% this year. A lot of people still on 7. 8, obviously, is just dead. But 34%, this was when Windows 10 just came out, by the way, last year when this started. And this was maybe, a couple of weeks after Windows 10 came out. And the adoption rate was already 35%. That was incredible. Looking at that, just a couple of weeks after an operating system was out, having such a high adoption rate. Obviously, it being such a... That is an incredible statistic there. And I don't think you should avoid Windows 10 as long as you can. I think you should embrace Windows 10. Because if you use Windows 7, Windows 10 is a more updated, more stable, more secure version of Windows 7. That is, it just runs better in every way. Obviously, there's a lot of problems. There are some compatibility problems, but you can get around them. I think if you want the system, if you want the platform to be good and stable, I think everyone needs to be on the same operating system for it to work. But it's a cool thing to look at. Obviously, then you look at the Mac statistics. There we go. El Capitan, Yosemite, like fucking Sierra. Well, that's fucking barely fucking 6% of people on OS X, which makes sense. I think last year Yosemite was out last year. Did I not buy El Capitan last year's one? I don't think El Capitan was out when I did last year's one. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because Apple put a new one over. Yeah, that's interesting. You see, that's a similar sort of fall off as you're seeing with Mac now. See, this Windows one, this is really fragmented, having these 3 different operating systems. And then you have the Mac one where basically everyone's on the same one. And you've got the same sort of pattern now with Windows, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Windows aren't implementing it particularly well, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's, at the end, in the long term, it's a better thing. Right? It's a better thing. So, and I wouldn't try to fight it as much as you might think you should, because it's not as bad as you think. It's all right. Anyway, mobile operating system. Obviously, most people use Android, but iOS 32% versus 63%. Still a pretty big portion each. I was expecting Android to be a bit more dominating here. Yosemite. How would you like me to pronounce it? Yosemite? I don't know. I pronounce it Yosemite. A lot of people pronounce it Yosemite. Like, well, I don't know. Yosemite. Ooh, Yosemite Sam! Yeehaw! Hoo-wee! Hoody doody doo doo. How long left? Well, I'm almost at the end of the spreadsheet now, so I'm actually right at the end of the spreadsheet now, so probably this is the end. What mobile operating system do you use? That's very few Windows Phone users. Very few Windows Phone users. BlackBerry OS, I don't think anyone chose that. Like, I can't actually even see BlackBerry OS listed there. I don't think a single person chose BlackBerry OS. Which I find hilarious. Poor BlackBerry. And yeah, that is the end of the census. I will take screenshots of most of this and post it on the subreddit, and I'll probably try and update it with some more graphs after the fact if I can get them up and working. Yes, when I do the next census, normally at the end of the year, and they are posted on the subreddit, they are posted on my Twitter, they're posted on Dan's Twitter, Rebecca's Twitter, they're posted on all our Twitters, they're posted on the subreddit, they'll be posted on Steam, on the Steam group. I'll mention them on the Twitch a lot. Dan might mention it on YouTube, but he hasn't the past 2 years when I've asked him, so I don't know if he'll do next year. So yeah, just check everything else, basically. Anyway, yeah, show us the opinion on Matt Foley responses. Alrighty, let's go. Actually, you know what? Actually, I can't. Because I can't in this view because it doesn't fucking. It just basically it all says null. Okay, you can see this. Look. Matt fucking. I don't know why you can see this, right? There's a lot of duplicate responses. Like this is clearly the same response 5 times. That's the same response 5 times. And I don't know why. This does this, but you know you can see most of it's null. Most of it was Matt. Most of it was cunty Matt fucked up. A lot of nice comments as well. I'm pleasantly surprised. Anyway, start doing alerts on Discord when there's a stream. Is that a thing? I shall. Anyway, I will spend the next 7 minutes doing a small Q&A, and not just about me, but just general. If you have any questions about Nerdcubed, or games, or the channel, or live streams, or Patreon, or anything. Feel free, just give me some cues, and I will aid them in your general direction. Maybe in your asshole, I can't guarantee. You've grown to like it. Oh, thank you. A lot of people didn't like me first. I have a very abrasive human being. Like I was on Sips' live stream a couple of years back, and oh god, they fucking hated me. like. John's channel, lovely reception. Hannah's channel, lovely reception. Lovely channel, lovely reception. Sips, who the fuck is this guy? Fuck this guy! And they grew to accept me. So kind of. How long has Dan been sitting on the overgrowth video? About 3 days. Will there be a stream next week? I'm expecting there to be a stream tomorrow, yes. I think there will be a... I don't know what the series is called. Whatever's replaced. The me, John, and Dan play a game live stream will hopefully be tomorrow. I have no reason to think it's not. It was supposed to be last week, but Dan was ill. So it should be this week. It should be tomorrow. There should be one tomorrow. The Star Trek Online ones probably won't start for another month. Probably. Maybe a bit earlier, but I wouldn't expect them any time in the next few weeks. I think we can have a wank training again. Well, it's your voice. Yeah, I have a very abrasive voice. It's very nasally and whiny. More nasally now because I am sick and I have a very blocked up nose. But I'm a bit more deep right now because my throat's a bit more relaxed. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Total Biscuit. Welcome to WTF is Census Results. Bad Total Biscuit. I'm sorry, John. Is Cube News going to be a podcast? Is Cube News going to be a podcast? Dan has not mentioned it to me, so no. Probably should be. I might talk to him about that. Will we see more collaboration videos on the channel? Dan is definitely more interested in doing collaborations. I think especially since we're doing the gaming live stream on the Wednesday now. Because podcasts, as much as it was good, and we were wanting to get guests in for it, obviously we're talking about gaming news and stuff like that, so we wanted to get people who would talk about that, and we never bothered. But I think since we're doing the gaming thing, we could potentially get more guests involved with that. For example, T-Pain! T-Pain wants to do something with us. So we could get T-Pain on. 2-time Grammy Award winning T-Pain. That's weird. Well, it'll be forever. No. Why did I stop podcast? Well, it wasn't me, it was Dan. Dan didn't want to... okay. We hadn't done them for ages because Dan was very busy and he was sick and he was busy and he was sick. And clearly the interest wasn't there for him anymore. And he thinks it became more about the camaraderie and the things. I don't fully agree. I still quite like the podcast. Well, we'll see how it goes. So obviously Dan's word goes. So will the results be released in the spreadsheet? I'm afraid not, because of the privacy policy. But I will be releasing the graphs. Yeah, the podcast was quite nice. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll see how this game thing comes out. Obviously, we're still in the sort of changing stage, so we can move things around as needed, and we'll see how it is. Just do it with you and John. There's potential for that, obviously. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I feel if me and John are doing a gaming news podcast and Dan is doing a gaming news thing, I mean, we might as well just do them together. But, whatever. Do I prefer playing acoustic or electric? I like both. Electric's a bit more flexible. Dan's a dictator, not a president. This is true. You need a podcast to listen to. I've got so used to saying podcast instead of podcast. Listen to the Code Monkey podcast is very good. It's Cheers Kevin and Alex Bragdon, I think it was. I don't know if they've made one in a while, but that's good. That's a good podcast. Listen to that quite a few times. That's just the two of them doing stuff. Code Monkey podcast. I don't know how to find it. I think you have to Google it. It doesn't link it on any of his channels for some fucking reason. Code Monkey podcast. That's good. And also the Richard Herring Leicester Square Theatre podcast. Richard Herring, the comedian / pool player, interviewing comedians. That's a good podcast. Both good podcasts. Recommend both of those. How's my return to regular YouTube content going? Good. Bad. I made 10 episodes in like 2 days, and then I went away for 4 days, and then I got back, and then I was sick, and I've been sick since. So all the times I could have chosen to start doing daily YouTube content, this was probably the worst time I could have chosen, because I haven't been able to keep up with it because I was immediately away and then ill. So I should be able to keep up with it now, though. I should be hopefully ready to record, sort of tomorrow Thursday. So I should hopefully have, if you don't know, I'm doing regular YouTube videos now, which is so interesting. Corporate podcast. I don't listen to the corporate podcast. Why do I have Velcro? I don't know. It's just one of my cable wraps, and I'm just fucking around with it. Will I include a question about wearable tech? Oh, I should. I should ask a question about, do you have Apple Watch or like a Galaxy Watch yeah, I will. Yes, I will. Sorry, I'm messing with this. Has Dan played Overwatch? Yes, he didn't like it. He thought it was too fast paced, which was weird. Which was really weird. He's the only. Why? It's a good game. God damn it, Daniel. When's the next talk to Twitter? It was supposed to be Friday, but I cancelled because I was ill. So I might try and do it this week. About Donald Trump's first 2 weeks, potentially. I am fiddling with Valkyrie, yes. What game were we playing on Wednesday? Not a clue. Not a clue. I think we were playing around with possibly looking at that Godzilla game Dan played years ago. Like one of the ones he played at the very start of the channel. Where you like play a big monster and everyone else plays like little guys that run around. It's like sort of... I can't remember what it's called. Fuck. Might be the best. I need to get a fidget cube. That's what I want for stuff like this. Fidget cube. That one. He did like doing... Yeah, I don't know. He felt it was too fast and chaotic to figure out what was going on. And he felt it was more tactical. I feel like he'll probably like it more. I think me and John will probably try and get him to play it on one of these Wednesday streams. So we'll see. What was Dan's opinion on Dishonored 2? He was kind of negative when he talked about his podcast. If you don't know, I Dishonored 2 was my game of the year. I've played through that game now. I played through it 3 times properly, and since then I've done 2 speedruns. Which, the first speedrun I did on the live stream, that took me 2 hours. The second speedrun I did on my own, it took me an hour. So, I know that game well, and I like that game. I think it's a great game. I think Dan and Rebecca have played it a lot. I think they do like it now. I don't know if they've really meant... I think their opinion seems to be positive, as far as I can tell. A Megalodon, that's it. There we go. I think we're going to try and play a Megalodon if it can work, if we can figure out how to get it to work. John made you really enjoy the new Hitman. Good! Good. Dud. Good. Dud, 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 dud. Is there a stream tomorrow? Yes, there should be. Well, that's the thing as well. Since we're doing the... See, one of the very limiting factors for me, as a person who goes through all the games that we get sent, is that ever since we went to 3 plays videos a week, there's very few slots to actually look at games. We get sent, dozens of games a week. A lot of them can be quite interesting, but obviously a lot of them just fall through. But now, since we're doing this weekly gaming live stream, and as well as the games, the news videos, a lot of the footage will just be of me getting an interesting indie game. So we're going to be able to cover a few more 2 more games a week now, which is good. So especially in the suggestions thread will be updated tomorrow on Reddit. I would really love suggestions for interesting indie games that sort of just came out, or good sort of multiplayer games to play, and because we're able to do more stuff now, which is quite good. It's quite good. Should you get Arkham Knight or Sonic 2? Sonic 2. I love Arkham Knight as well. A lot of people didn't, but I did. I think the Sonic 2 is... I don't know. I think it's a better game. Arkham Knight's great as well, though. Dan kind of strikes me as the kind of beep who refused to teamwork. So if you pick a bad character for competition, be genuine. He'd totally be that on Overwatch. I fully expect that. Recommend the ship. Oh yeah, the ship. That'd be good. The problem with the ship, though, is if I remember correctly, the newest version doesn't include AI. But I suppose the thing is, well, we can, with these gaming live streams, we can get you lot involved, actually get viewers playing, which is quite good. What's the purpose of the hole in the bagel? To stick my cock into. Just talk about Hitman. We probably will talk about Hitman at some point. Yeah, I think it's a tradition now. We have to talk about Hitman. Just because we want to play it. That's good option. Yeah, I'll make wait for the thread on Reddit tomorrow and have a look at that. I'll put it up tonight, actually, the thread, and you can fill it in a couple of hours on the 1st of February. It's the February one, and for the most part, I've sort of skimmed that suggestion thread because, as I say, we get a lot of games, and often there isn't any room for stuff like that. But now we've got the 2 extra slots for games a week. So, hey, favorite Overwatch character, Pharah. Always play Pharah. I always play Pharah. Love Pharah. I like Junkrat as well. No, play Junkrat and Pharah quite a lot. I'm quite good at Pharah. Just for 3 server. Servers are dead, and frankly, just because 3. There's already some good servers for it, and clearly Dan doesn't have the interest for it, so whatever. Fuck it. We probably will get a ship, at least ship plays on the live stream, at least, yes. JC, do you want to play it? Yeah, a lot of people forgot it existed, because 3 isn't a great game. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for coming. That was 2-hour-ish live stream. That wasn't meant to be 2 hours. It was meant to be half an hour, but went on a lot longer than it should have. So yes, if you've got any suggestions for these new live streams, please put them in the suggestion thread on Reddit. It'll be up in probably an hour and a half on reddit.com/r/Nerdcubed. That's a good place to go. If next too long for Twitter, which is on my YouTube channel, should be either this week or early next week. With Donald Trump's presidency, the replacement podcast stream with me, John, and Dan will probably be on tomorrow at 8 p.m. If you are interested in watching any new sort of videos, I have, like me, I've got a Skyrim series on my YouTube channel now. It's on episode 11. It was supposed to be daily. It's not at the moment. It should be daily in a few days when I get back up to scratch. That's on youtube.com/Mattphobia. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, thanks for coming. You're welcome for these statistics. And yes, cool. Good. I'm going to go masturbate into a fucking big old fucking loaf of bread you don't even know. Oh, fuck the mic. Shit. Fuck.